Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now your host, Tim Johnson.
Proper insurance coverages are critical for any Louisiana business. We also, on this show, love to highlight young entrepreneurs. We'll talk about both of those when Brady Flavin of Brady Flavin State Farm Insurance joins us when we return on the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
Since 1919, we've designed and constructed hundreds of industrial plants, roads, ships, dams, and executed some of the most complex jobs in the world. In fact, our quality and dependability are legendary. Today, the legend continues as Brown & Root delivers engineering, construction, maintenance, and industrial specialty services throughout the U.S. and the world from our headquarters here in Louisiana. We are Brown & Root.
Passion, experience, safety. These are what set Arkell Constructors apart as a premier general contractor. At Arkell Constructors, our goal is to exceed our clients' expectations, whether it's commercial, industrial, or facility maintenance. We have the team and processes in place to provide a solution for you. To us, every project is a resume for our future. Arkell Constructors, the solution for your next building project.
For over a quarter century, Kelly's has operated with honesty, integrity, and above all, safety. Kelly's features a fleet of quality equipment operated by dedicated, safety-minded employees skilled in land clearing, above-ground right-of-way maintenance, vegetation control, station yard and manned facility maintenance, above-ground pipeline support, and more. Kelly's Industrial Services, where pipeline right-of-way maintenance gets done right.
Consumers and property owners with construction projects can have a successful result or regretful experiences that could have been avoided. Before any construction project, verify licensure of the contractor and check references. Scammers will claim to be insured or bonded, so always check first. Download our app, LA Contractor, from the Android or Apple Store. Visit our website, lacontractor.org, or contact the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors. We're here to help before things go wrong. Hire a licensed contractor. It's the law.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Very pleased to be joined by Brady Flavin State Farm Insurance. Buddy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Tim.
Tell us about the agency. We're going to get into the insurance industry. We're going to get into what it's like to be a young entrepreneur starting a business. We're going to talk about a lot of those things, but as we get started here today, tell us more about your specific insurance agency.
Yes, sir. We opened for business on January 1st, 2015, so time flies. It's been about a year and a half in business, and Tim, the growth has been unbelievable. As you know, you have to have good people around you, and I'm very blessed to have a great team at our office, and it's just been getting better and better every month, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have the opportunity of being a State Farm agent.
I want to talk about State Farm and that growth and support as we move along, but tell us more about your background, Brady. What led you into, talk about your education, and then talk about what led you into the insurance business.
I grew up in a family business, Flavin Realty in Lake Charles, and it's a very successful real estate brokerage firm. Got my real estate license at 18 and worked in the family business, and I followed my girlfriend at the time to LSU, who's now my wife, Louise, the love of my life. And we have two daughters, Mary Minor and Florence, and we're just so blessed. And graduated from LSU and was trying to decide what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I had an older brother who was a State Farm agent just north of Houston, and his wife stayed at home to raise their two kids, and I thought he was doing pretty well. And I said, you know what, I want to become a State Farm agent. And I set out on a path. That was 6 years ago, and finally was able to achieve my dream of becoming a State Farm agent. And love being a small business owner. It's a great opportunity to provide a great livelihood to your family, and it teaches your kids to work hard. That's what I learned growing up at Flavin Realty.
Well, that's, you've kind of covered why you chose State Farm, obviously already part of your family. Why Baton Rouge? You're a Lake Charles guy. You could have gone back to Lake Charles to start your agency. What made you choose Baton Rouge?
Well, my dad was a state representative for 9 years, as you know, and I spent some of my childhood in Baton Rouge. So I love Baton Rouge. I think the economies in Baton Rouge and Lake Charles are thriving in this state, which is awesome. You know, my wife and I came to LSU, and like a lot of people, we fell in love with the LSU Tigers and just never left. I went straight to work for a State Farm agent, Brian Moe, off of Jefferson Highway, like an apprenticeship, and you know, was just so blessed to be hired by the company, which kept us here. And it's nice to have some distance from all of our family in Lake Charles, but we're there all the time. And we were there last weekend in Lake Charles.
You're only 2 hours away.
That's right. So it's we're back in Lake Charles for weekends, and we just love it here. And there's a little bit more to do in Baton Rouge than Lake Charles, and I think that's what probably kept us here. But Louise and I both love raising our kids here, and we're members of St. Aloysius Parish.
I'm very familiar. You and I go to church together. That's right.
That's right. And just so blessed and fortunate. And I think it would have worked out great if we moved back to Lake Charles. And but just so thankful to have the opportunity here in Baton Rouge. And the capital is here and LSU, and those just provide great anchors to a small business, along with all the chemical work that's going up and down the river. So I'm just so blessed to be in Louisiana. I think it's the best place in the country. And I mean that sincerely.
It really is.
To be a State Farm agent. And I'm just so thankful. The food and the people in Baton Rouge are just second to none.
Well, and let's not forget LSU football, right? It can't be too far from LSU football. I always tell the story about my daughter, who is starting her second year of medical school in New Orleans at Tulane, when she narrowed her college choices to Rice, Vanderbilt, and Tulane, and ultimately made the decision to go to her undergrad school at Tulane. One of the primary reasons was she didn't want to be too far away from LSU football during Saturdays in the fall. So we understand that completely. Now, I've had the great pleasure, Brady, of watching your firm grow. We happen to be in the same office complex. And so you came in there about a couple of years after we opened our office there. And I watched you get started with just a couple of people, and I've watched that firm grow. And now I see the business and the traffic that's in and out of there every day. Let's talk about that early success, particularly for young business owners out there. What do you attribute your growth to? I know there are probably a number of factors. Talk about some of those.
I think it all comes down to hard work and attitude. And those are the two things that we look for whenever we hire people in my business. And it's always a positive environment. I mean, these days you read the newspaper, you turn on the news, there's a lot of negative things going on, but it's all about hard work and a good attitude. And we're just all won the lottery being born in America. And we talk about that every day in my business. And we talk about the challenges, but with those challenges there are a lot of opportunities. And it just all comes down to doing what you love. Tim, I love people. And that's what you do as a State Farm agent. You talk to people and you help them.
Right.
And I can't think of a better way to make money for my family by helping people. And as long as we continue to have that vision and that mission in our office, then things will be successful and we'll continue to have a lot of fun.
Well, and part of that obviously is how much you as the leader of the organization set the tone, set the culture, make it an enjoyable place to work. But also how hard I've seen you work going out to market your business. So for any small business, whether they're an insurance agent or not, we got about 45 seconds left in this segment. Let's talk a little bit about marketing, some of the things that you do, and then also the support you get from State Farm in terms of letting people know about who you are and what you do.
So I can talk about State Farm first. Their brand is second to none. I mean, they're on every TV commercial all over the place, and they're in the business of making promises. I mean, when somebody buys a policy from State Farm, we're going to deliver. State Farm is going to deliver. And the second thing I would say is whenever you start a business, as a person, each person, in my opinion, has a brand. And I was taught at an early age that your name is everything. And it takes a lifetime to build that name up, and it takes 5 seconds to lose it. And the same goes for a company or a business owner. So that's what I try to focus on. And we're not perfect, but we try our best to do what we can. And whenever we make a mistake, we admit it, and we try to get better.
One of the things that's been very interesting to watch is, you see you get there early, I see you leave late, I see you doing a lot of things on social media, and maybe we can talk about some of those things when we come back from the break. Also want to get into the kind of support in terms of products and training that an organization like State Farm might offer to one of its agents. We're visiting with Brady Flavin, State Farm Insurance. and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
It might be one of the most efficient, most effective methods of communications we've ever used.
Spadel's Florist was founded over 30 years ago. From my mom's kitchen, we have grown into one of the largest florists in this area. There's a sense in our community that you stick together, good times or bad. And oil and gas is part of that family. They're my neighbors. They're my customers. They're the person I'm sitting next to at church. If oil and gas is doing well, all of our businesses are doing well. We are Louisiana Oil and Gas.
In Baton Rouge, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Brady Flavin for your insurance and financial needs.
What if I said that the American dream is alive and well, and that it exists for anyone willing to build it? That the power of a nation does not reside in its monuments, but in the hearts and minds of those who built them, and that the country's greatest heroes also wear hard hats. In today's America, it's not enough to dream about the future. You have to build it. Build your future at byf.org.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Very pleased to be joined by Brady Flavin of Brady Flavin State Farm Insurance, a bright young entrepreneur in this region doing great things in the insurance business. State Farm. Very reputable company. You mentioned some of that in the first segment. Most people who are in any kind of business or who ever bought insurance before understand that brand. But it's critical for agents like you, particularly young agents getting started, that you be offered great products and great training. Talk about both of those in some detail in terms of what State Farm offers to its agents.
I think State Farm Insurance is the best insurance company on the planet. I know I'm a little biased whenever I say that, but the support that they give their agents is unbelievable with training and all the resources that are necessary. I think the biggest thing that State Farm provides to the agents, Tim, is that promise, the financial stability that an insurance company needs to have. They have over $80 billion in assets, and it's a mutual company.
80 billion with a B, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So if there's a storm that hits or your house burns down or a car accident, we're going to be there to deliver whenever you need it most. And that's our mission, to help people manage the risks of everyday life. And a lot of people just think of State Farm as auto insurance and homeowners insurance, but we do a lot more than that. There's a lot of risks that people deal with on a daily basis, and that's the State Farm agent's job, to sit down with families and with business owners and talk about those risks. And if State Farm has a product to help them with that, then that's great. We can help them with that. But there's also other things to go help them with that we might not be able to do, and we tell them that. And at the end of the day, whether it's the parents that have decisions to make for their family or a business owner that has decisions to make for his employees, we let them make those decisions. But we try to be there to help them, educate them on the risks that they face each and every day.
Well, that's really what the insurance business is, right? It's risk management, it's risk mitigation, and those are the products that State Farm provides to you. So let's talk about training. So new insurance agent, new State Farm agent, just starting out, give us an idea of the kind of training that you had to go through, and then once you were established, the kind of training that you and your team are offered through State Farm.
I think it all started whenever I went to work for Brian Moe, who's a State Farm agent on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. And it's very much like an apprenticeship. It's called an agent aspirant program. So you go work under an agent, and that's the best way to learn. It's a live environment, and you have a mentor to teach you everything.
Somebody who's been there and done that, right?
That's right, and that's what I have 4 agent aspirants in my office, and I really believe in that program because it provides a lot of energy to your business, and you get to teach them the trade that you know, and then what happens, Tim, is they're going to go on to start their own agencies one day, and that's just very rewarding to me. The second thing that we did was I went through about a 90-day training program after I finished my time working for that agent, and did training in Austin and also Missouri, and that was with a State Farm company, a team that trains their agents, and it was great training. I mean, I worked for an agent for 9 months. I worked for the company for 4.5 years. And whenever I went to that 90-day training program, I learned a lot of things there that I didn't know. And I think what you learn the longer you've been in this business is there's a lot that you don't know. And how we deal with that is use the support of the company. And whenever we make a mistake, we just try to solve it as quickly as possible. And if there's something that you do not know, then that's all you do is just tell the customer, hey, we don't know that, but we'll help you in any way we can.
I think it's one of the most valuable things that anyone can have in any kind of business, and that's being curious, right? And so if you understand clearly that you don't know everything, and you have a general curiosity about learning, it really is going to serve you well going forward, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, we've got about 2.5 minutes left in this segment, so let's talk about the insurance industry in Louisiana, the climate here. Talk about property insurance and what it's like in the state. We hear a lot of criticism about Louisiana in terms of insurance. We hear a lot of criticism about this being a very litigious state. A lot of folks suing insurance companies having to push back. Talk about the overall climate for the insurance industry in our state.
Tim, I think it's improved tremendously since Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. Jim Donnellan, the insurance commissioner, every citizen of Louisiana is very lucky and blessed to have Commissioner Donnellan as the insurance commissioner. I think he's improved the brand insurance name across the country to bring new companies to do business in Louisiana, and that's created a competitive environment. And whenever you have, that's what you want for Louisiana, is to have a competitive insurance environment. Whenever there's more companies doing business here, it creates a healthy price for the customer.
It really is about competition, right? So this whole idea and what we hear a lot about in the media about this being a very difficult place to be in the insurance business, you really do see that improving. Got about 45 seconds left here. You mentioned Insurance Commissioner Jim Donnellan. Talk about an agent's day-to-day, month-to-month relationship with the Department of Insurance in Louisiana. What's that interaction like?
Well, one place is with the continuing education and just make sure everything's current, and the platform that the Department of Insurance has been improved tremendously since I started 6 years ago. Commissioner Donnellan has done a great job improving the website there. The other thing that I would say is encourage insurance agents across the state to get involved. That's what I grew up with in a family business, and my dad was a state representative. You have to have a seat at the table, and you can't just sit on the sidelines and criticize regulation or say, I wish it would be this way. Everybody needs to bring their ideas together, and that's what creates a healthy business environment, and to have that right balance between private companies doing what they want to do with a healthy regulation environment in the insurance business.
I think all of us in any form of business look for common sense, healthy regulation, and communication is really always the key to that. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk specifically about the things from an insurance product perspective that businesses ought to make sure they're aware of. We're visiting with Brady Flavin of Brady Flavin State Farm Insurance, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
Promoting workplace safety and family wellness. That's our motto at Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine. The Gulf Coast staff is made up of some of the most knowledgeable and hardest working medical professionals in Louisiana. We care about your safety and your bottom line. With 8 convenient locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, our services include injury management, physical exams, medical surveillance, and substance abuse testing. For more information, visit us on the web at gcombr.info and ride the wave to safety.
For more than 20 years, the TJC Group has been helping companies assess their training needs and to develop programs that improve the effectiveness and productivity of their teams.
Training doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. Let us put our experience and expertise to work for you.
The TJC Group, facilitating solutions for business and industry.
What if I said that whatever good things you build you? And that in this economy, sweat never loses its value? What if I said that there isn't a challenge in the world too great for a craft professional with the right tools, and that the steps that lead from where you are to where you want to be can only be built by you? Build your future at byf.org.
Keene Miller traces its roots to the dawn of the petrochemical industry in Louisiana. As the legal needs of the sector grew, our firm emerged as a leader in environmental law, economic development, real estate, employment, utilities regulations, and more. Today, these same clients and those new to our state continue to rely upon the firm and its attorneys for creative ideas, practical advice, and Louisiana know-how. Industrial strength law. Learn more at KeeneMiller.com.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Brady Flavin is our guest. He's a young State Farm insurance agent here in the Capital Region. Brady, what advice as an insurance professional do you have for business owners and managers in general? And then I want to talk about 3 specific areas of coverage: auto coverage and the limits that they might have. I want to talk about property insurance, and I want to talk about a critical but sometimes overlooked portion of business insurance, and that's what we call key man life insurance. So let's talk about general advice and then maybe each of those 3 areas.
I think the first thing that always comes up, Tim, is price. I mean, everybody is so price sensitive today, and they're always worried about, can I get a lower price? And sometimes they take away the right coverage to get a cheaper price. And in our office, we really strive to talk to people about value and make sure they understand what's covered and what's not covered. And specifically the bodily injury and property damage coverage on the auto policy, a lot of people just have what the state requires them to have, which is 15, 30, 25, okay? And a lot of people don't understand those numbers, but what it means is for the 15, 30 numbers, it's $15,000 per person and $30,000 per occurrence for a bodily injury. So if that's all I have and I hit you and you're hurt, you know, the insurance company's on the hook for $30,000, and then everything above that is on me.
And you know, we all know that one serious hospital visit, one serious surgery to repair a broken leg or broken bones or anything that might, we know that $30,000 will go away very quickly.
Very quickly. And it's hard to communicate that to people in Louisiana, but that's what we strive. That's good job security for our office to make sure to educate customers. And it's so important, Tim. And it's not fun to sit there and pay your insurance bill every month, but I'll tell you this, you have to come to us before something happens, because after something happens, it's too late, and there's nothing that we can do.
But it is critical to make sure that those coverage limits are correct, particularly if you're a business owner and you have some exposure from that perspective. Let's talk about property insurance. I'm a business owner. You know, I have a consulting firm. Others might have larger operations with more inventory, more property, more goods. Talk about property insurance and some of the key things that you look for when someone comes to you to insure from that perspective.
Absolutely. I think business insurance is so important. And one of the things that I always look for is loss of income. So there's a lot of companies out there that do not provide loss of income, or there's a limit on it. But State Farm has a great policy in place to protect customers. If I talk to you and we review your policy and we see that there is no loss of income to your business policy, that's one thing that I definitely want to address with you. A lot of people don't realize, Tim, they're just paying an insurance premium every month as a business owner, and if their business burns down and they're out of business for 3, 6 months, or even a year, I mean, if they have no loss of use coverage from their insurance company, that's going to really put them in a bind. The bills don't change, right? And it could potentially lead to bankruptcy or some bad things that could occur. And that's something that could be prevented by spending a little bit of money on the front end by making sure that coverage is there to protect you and your business.
And that leads us perfectly to the third area that I really wanted to cover in about a minute here, and that is key man, key woman life insurance. Explain to us what that is.
Yeah, so Tim, if you and I are partners in a business and something happens to me, right, you wouldn't want to do business with my family necessarily. You might
although I know your family, and that probably would be okay. But in the normal scenario, we might want to be able to have the proceeds to buy that family out, right?
That's right, and that's what life insurance can do. It can help with that for business owners. And look, I grew up in a small business. What you're trying to do is make money, right? A small business owner is very busy, and what they're trying to do is make more money because at the end of the day, it's all on their shoulders. So they need to make sure that they sit down with an insurance professional to understand these risks so that it can be taken care of. And a lot of times whenever we're younger, we think that, hey, we're not going to die, or I'll deal with that later. But in my short 29 years on this planet, I've seen some bad things happen, and you just want to make sure that everything's protected.
Auto coverage limits, property insurance, key man, key woman life insurance, 3 critical areas. Got about a minute and a half left. I want to hit on 2 things. You're a young entrepreneur. You made the decision to start your own business. So if young folks are out there watching, or even older folks who might be saying, I want to leave this job I'm in and I want to start my own business, 30 seconds, what advice do you give them?
I would tell them to first invest in themselves. I did the MBA program at LSU at night while I was working for State Farm, and I think education is so important to the foundation of a business career. The second thing, Tim, is it's all about doing what you love. I mean, you're going to spend 40 or 50 years working. You better like what you do, right? And I've seen so many people not enjoy what they get up to do every day for work. But that's one thing that I saw in my dad. He got up every day and loved what he did, loved helping people, and that's exactly what I do at State Farm. Is I love going to work every day and providing jobs to employees and providing an income for my family, and nothing makes me more happy than that.
Be juice, something that gets you out of bed and gets you going. We've got about 15, 20 seconds here. How do our viewers get more information on Brady, Flavin, State Farm Insurance?
You can go to my website at www.bradyflavin.com. That's probably the best place to go to get all the information. Or you can just call our office at 225-766-0361.
Brady Flavin, my personal insurance agent, buddy. Great job on the show today. Thanks for the good information. We'll keep up with what you're doing.
Thanks so much, Tim.
That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Hey guys, be sure to check out our new LBIS website, www.louisianabusinessandindustryshow.com.